we have a new Lady Gaga song out, and of course I'm almost obligated to give it a review, seeing as I'm meant to be covering big new singles, but anyway, here goes nothing. So, I'm pretty much on the fence when it comes to Lady Gaga. I was never a fan of hers, but I also never jumped on the backlash bandwagon that kicked off around about the Born This Way era either. I do recognise that she is an incredible live singer, which seems to be becoming an increasing rarity these days, and there's nothing wrong with having a pop star with lofty ambitions of creating pop music with grand concepts, even if they don't always stick the landing in her case. Especially in this current pop climate where it seems like it's a requirement to be as downbeat and as anonymous as possible. Now, what I have noticed is that, well, for the last 2 albums at least, Gaga seems to be increasingly irrelevant. Now, don't get me wrong, whenever she puts something new out, it grabs a lot of attention. But when I say irrelevant, I mean that in terms of chart presence, which in hindsight is a rather unfortunate turn of events considering how omnipresent she was at the turn of the decade. I mean, 7 to 8 years ago, she was pumping out #1 hit singles left and right, and nowadays she's struggling to even get into the top 10 of Billboard's Hot 100 with any sort of real longevity, which is kind of a shame, really. Now, why is that? Is that her ideas of concept-driven pop music was getting too damn pretentious for her own good? Or was it simply mainstream trends shifting away from personality-driven pop stars to the dregs that we have to suffer through now? Personally, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, the last Lady Gaga song I remember remotely enjoying was Applause. I thought that was a half-decent song. A Million Reasons was a decent ballad as well. And I was probably one of the very few critics who wasn't fond of Perfect Illusion. Personally, I thought it was an unholy, oversung mess. The less said about that, the better. And enough of this retrospective. Why don't we just start digging into her newest single, The Cure, a song which she randomly dropped out of nowhere and is sadly not remotely influenced by the band of the same name. No, sadly she's jumping on that godforsaken tropical house bandwagon. And look, it's not that I hate tropical house, it's just that, in my opinion at least, it's just become so dominant in the charts and on the radio playlist that it's downright oppressive at this point. And all these songs sound exactly the same. The same chipmunk fragments, the same predictable drops, the same skittery beats. It's just, it's gotten to the point where I actively dread it as soon as I hear a slightly tropical sounding intro in a new song. I mean, is it so wrong to want some goddamn diversity in the charts, for crying out loud? But anyway, let's dig further into the song. Lyrically, it's pretty much a basic "let me comfort you by nailing you" song, which I get has a certain appeal as a narrative, but personally, I don't agree with it as a suitable way of helping someone who's been hurt or has been going through hard times or whatever. I mean, in my opinion, it more often than not runs the risk of making things actually worse. I mean, just talk it out with them. Give them a hug and maybe a nice warm drink, like some hot cocoa or something. Now, for me, there's no point discussing the musical side of the song, because as I said, once you've heard one tropical house song, you've pretty much heard them all, same drops and everything. The one thing I can say about this song musically is that I really don't like the vocal production on this song. To me, it just makes Gaga sound like she's singing through a stifled tube, which is a bit of a shame because I like her more rich, lower range that she delivers in the song. Otherwise, I don't have much else to say about this song, and I honestly don't know what she's trying to achieve with a song like this. Is it simply a half-assed release just for the fans to keep them happy? Is it a desperate attempt at getting a hit song again? Who knows? What I know is that this song kind of feels pointless, for me anyway. If I'm going to give it a score, I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 10, just not a bad score, but not a remotely good one either. It's just kind of there, really. Sorry. Okay, so that was my review of Lady Gaga's The Cure. I can't see how I'm not going to get some stick from the little monsters who will come across this review. But if you do have any suggestions of what I can do to improve how I go about doing these reviews, like, do you want me to improve my vocal delivery? Do you want me to put in more clips or put in some backing music or whatever? Just as long as you have some constructive criticism, any suggestions will be very much welcome. If you want to like and subscribe as well, that would be nice. If you want to see me do more of these reviews, that would be some nice encouragement. And if you have any suggestions of what popular song that you want me to review next, just hit me a comment in this video's comment section, or maybe tweet me, whatever. I will have a listen anyway and see if I can get a good review out of any of your suggestions. So that's it from me, so until next time, I'll see you around.